NBA's biggest trade fails. You know, folks, the NBA offseason is a time for hope. Every team, every fan base, they're all thinking this is their year, right? But then, reality sets in. And that reality often comes in the form of a trade so lopsided, so baffling, that it leaves you scratching your head and wondering, what were they thinking? Join me as I dive into the craziest NBA trade fails and try to figure out what we can actually learn from these massive blunders. But what about the other side of the coin? We gotta talk about the trades that utterly fail, leaving teams in shambles and fans bewildered. These are the trades that make you question everything you thought you knew about basketball. So, buckle up because we're about to dissect some of the most head-scratching moves in NBA history. Alright, let's rewind to 2013. The Brooklyn Nets, flush with cash and desperate for a championship, decided to go all in. They traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, two aging but still formidable stars from the Boston Celtics. On paper, it looked like a blockbuster deal. The Nets were adding championship experience to a team that already had Deron Williams, Joe Johnson, and Brook Lopez. The Celtics? They were seemingly hitting the reset button, stockpiling draft picks like they were going out of style. But here's the thing. You can have all the draft picks in the world, but if you don't draft well, they're meaningless. The Nets' lack of direction, coupled with injuries and a general lack of chemistry, turned this trade into a dumpster fire. They never made it past the second round of the playoffs with that group, and the Celtics ended up with a treasure chest of draft picks that helped them rebuild into a contender. This trade set the franchise back years, while the Celtics, the supposed losers of the deal, ended up in a much better position. Talk about a swing and a miss. Now let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. You remember the Bulls, right? The team that was supposed to contend for a title after Derrick Rose's knee injury? In 2014, they traded Luol Deng, their best defender, to the Cavaliers. The front office called it a cost-cutting move, but it was a salary dump, plain and simple. Deng was the heart and soul of the team. Once he was gone, the Bulls imploded. They went from contenders to just trying to make the playoffs. The locker room was a mess, and the coach was left to pick up the pieces. This trade was a disaster for the Bulls. It showed a lack of respect for a franchise cornerstone. And guess what? The rest of the league noticed. Chapter 3: The Shaq Sacrifice, the Lakers' colossal miscalculation. In 2004, the Lakers traded Shaquille O'Neal to the Miami Heat. Shaq was getting older and he and Kobe weren't best friends. The Lakers were coming off a finals loss. They got Lamar Odom, Karen Butler, and Brian Grant in return. But Shaq wasn't done yet. He led the Heat to their first NBA championship. The Lakers were left to pick up the pieces. This trade was a colossal miscalculation. Shaq's departure left a void in Los Angeles. The Lakers never won another championship with Kobe as the face of the franchise. They must have wondered what could have been if they had kept Shaq. Chapter 4: The Paul George Gamble, OKC's risky bet that backfired. Fast forward to 2019, and we've got another head-scratcher. The Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that had been on the cusp of greatness for years, decided to shake things up. They traded Paul George, a bona fide superstar in his prime, to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I get it. The Clippers were desperate to pair Kawhi Leonard with another star. And the Thunder? Well, they had just lost in the first round of the playoffs again. Maybe they thought this was their chance to hit the reset button. But trading away a player like Paul George? That's a move that can set your franchise back years. And that's exactly what it did to the Thunder. The Thunder got a haul of draft picks and prospects in return for George, but let's be real, folks, draft picks are lottery tickets. They have the potential to turn into stars, but they can also turn into busts. And in the NBA, you don't trade away a sure thing for a bunch of maybes. The Thunder thought they were being shrewd. They thought they were outsmarting the rest of the league. But what they were really doing was giving up on their chance to win a championship. The Thunder's trade of Paul George is a reminder that in the NBA you have to strike while the iron is hot. You can't afford to be patient, you can't afford to wait for the perfect opportunity, because in the NBA the perfect opportunity might never come. Chapter 5. What's the worst trade fail? Look, these are just a few examples of the NBA's biggest trade fails. I could go on, but I'd be here all day. The point is, these trades teach us valuable lessons about the NBA. They teach us that chemistry matters, that leadership matters, and that sometimes, the best trades are the ones you don't make. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more NBA content. What do you think is the worst trade fail in NBA history? Let me know in the comments below and suggest some topics for future videos.